to Fishhead's first video newsletter. Today I've got some fishing reports for you, and information about some of the new gear that we've got into the store. To start off with, the weather being the way it has been lately, there haven't been massive numbers of reports from up and down the coast, but there has been some really good news amongst all of the dirty water. First of all, there's been lots of yellowfin off the coast around Point Lookout and also down on the Tweed in particular. There's been lots of schools of small fin. They've been taking small lures like metal slugs and little raiders, things like that have been going well. Also stick baits in the form of things like these flits, 42 gram minnows, awesome little lures for that kind of thing, and smaller stick baits like the Sebeals and in the North Crafts as well, all working really well out there. Great light tackle fun. There have been a few snapper offshore as well, so if you're fishing around those close-in headlands, definitely throwing some plastics down for the snapper is a good way to go. There's been some quality fish out there. The mackerel is still a bit slow. There's the odd one here and there, but hopefully as the water clears up after this rain, then we'll see lots more Spanish mackerel getting around. Coming inside the bay, there's been snapper more on the eastern side of the bay. The western side is still pretty stirred up and fairly dirty in places, but spots towards from Peel Island and further east, up into the Rouse Channel, Rainbow Channel are good places to go looking for them. Throwing some plastics around for those at the moment, if that's where you fish for them. In the dirtier water, things like watermelon colours, the really dark ones, make nice silhouettes for the dirty water, and also going the opposite way, really bright fluoros stand out in the discoloured water. So rather than going for, usually in the clear water, go for nice translucent baitfish colours, but as it gets dirtier and dirtier, go for either really solid colours or nice bright colours that stand out in these zooms and assassins here. Also inside the bay, there's been some good numbers of bream getting around the flats of the Bay Islands. So again, places like Mud and Peel Island are a good place to start. A lot of those fish will have come out of the small creeks and canal systems where it's got just a bit too muddy for them. And yeah, they're good sport out on the flats. You also pick up things like chopper tailor, trevallies, little GTs and big eye trevallies, and the odd kingfish out over those flats too. Throughout the summer, we've also had reasonable numbers of golden trevally showing up on the shallow flats. Some of the lures to throw at those, stick baits across the really shallow flats, like the New Marias. They've just updated all their colours, so there's some pretty cool ones there. Bent minnows have been a great lure out on the open water, and various other stick baits like the Sebeals and the zip baits also really good. Tend to fish a little bit bigger than average out there for, you can cast a lot further on the shallow flats, and also the bream out on those flats are generally willing to tackle a fair size lure. So 40 mil is sort of the minimum I tend to go to, but 60, 70, even 80 mil lures, no problem out on the flats there. There's also been some nice bream caught inside the Brisbane River, along the rock walls, almost all the way up to the Gateway Bridge, and there's been some really good catches. Deep diving crankbaits against the rock walls, and also vibes down deep and then doing the damage. In the river, because it is so deep, you'll often get the dirty, muddier water sitting on top, and there'll be some good, cleaner salt water underneath. So even though it might look a little bit average, the fish are definitely in there. Moving on, down towards the Gold Coast, still plenty of reports of mangrove jacks coming through. They've been fishing really well in the lower reaches of the canals and rivers. The usual deep diving hard bodies have been going great, but also a lot of top water action happening. So if you want to get a jack on a surface lure, again, stick baits like the zip baits, also larger ones like the bigger Lucky Crafts, the ISGs there with the heavy gauge hooks on them, poppers, and what else have we got? Again, going back to things like the Seville stick baits, that's a sinking model, but working those just under the surface work really well on them. Early mornings, late evenings is the best time to try, but we have seen some pictures of some quality jacks caught right through the day as well on the surface. Getting into the freshwater, with all the rain, not been so many reports on the bass this week, but as all the dams are they're not already full, they're getting that way very quickly. Over the next few weeks there's going to be some really good bass fishing on offer, and as the top upper reaches of the Brisbane River start to clear up, that should really fire up again as well. So looking forward to getting in some really nice bass over the next few weeks. Far out offshore, there's been still good reports on the blue marlin. You're looking at heading a fair way off, 300, 400 metres of water and beyond. Wide of Cape Morton has been producing a lot of reports, and also down towards the Tweed Canyons as well. So if you're after a big blue marlin, this season's been one of the best, so definitely a good opportunity to get out there and try and catch one of those big beasts. Moving on to new tackle, we've had heaps of new gear coming into the shop over the last few weeks. It's going through the trade show time in Japan, so a lot of the new overseas stuff is all coming out, so seeing lots of really nice new stuff coming through. First of all, let's say not a Japanese rod, but Sinnott from New Zealand. These guys have been making some really top-notch jig rods over the last few years, and the Kaha Seriola is their latest. I took one of these over to Christmas Island recently, landed my PB yellowfin on it, about 45 kilos, and it's, I have to say, my new favourite rod. This one, the Seriola, is the heavier model. It's got a reasonably light tip, will jig up to about 500 grams, but it's soft enough to still jig down to smaller, sort of 150 gram minimum, around 200, 250 jigs really nicely. But the bottom end there got a very solid lock-up point, and will fish the heavy tackle extremely well. We've got them and the deep shot range from Sinnott, through from 100 gram size rods right through to 450 gram rods, and these are about the best jig rod that money can buy right now. I'm really happy with mine, so going to be seeing a lot more pictures of me catching fish on that rod. Lots and lots of lures have come out in recent times. We've started carrying the Imakatsu lures from Japan. This is a really top-notch company in Japan, makes beautiful lures with some great finishes. Got little 60mm dilemma lures. These guys dive to either 2.5 metres or 3 metres depending on the model. Great steep dive, good darting, wobbling action. Superb lures for things like bass, smaller jack lure and bigger brit lure. They also do the IS Wasp, which is a little bit more of a fatter belly crank shape. Still got that nice slender tail, so you get good hookups on the brim, but again, crossover between that brim, bass and jack style of lure. Some beautiful mother of pearl finishes on the insides of these lures too. Really well presented, swim great. These have been out for a little while now. The Baby Pop X's from Megabass. They've been a great one over summer, guys chasing brim in the canals and out on the flats, and also as a smaller bass lure. Superb quality lure from Megabass. Northcraft lures are something I've been trying to get hold of for some time now. The Air Ogres are the first model that we're carrying from them. These guys, although they look like a vibration type lure, they're actually more of a stick bait. This model is a slow sinker. They get a nice wobble on the way down, and as you're retrieving them with little slow, gentle twitches of the rod, get a really aggressive sideways dart with a little bit of a roll in there as well. They prove themselves fantastically on the smaller trevallies and queenfish around river mouths and canal entrances. Also really good on small tunas and mackerel. We had great fun with these over in Western Australia last year, catching various reefies over the shallow reefs, and also they've been a big hit with the barra up around the southern rivers like the Boyne. Tackle House, these guys make a huge variety of lures, but a couple of ones we've got from them are the new Flicks minnows. These guys are heavy casting minnows, so they come in 42 grams and 75 gram sizes. They cast like a metal slug, but they swim like a minnow with a bib. So ideal for chasing big pelagics like tunas, mackerels, kingfish, GTs, that sort of thing. They come with heavy duty hardware and big heavy plate through all the body there, so they're just about indestructible. They've been built with really big bluefin tuna in mind, so they're really built to last. Carpenter, latest version of the Carpenter Gamma. in the 160 series. This beautiful pearl white colour. Adds to an already very long list of different versions that they do on the Gammas. This one sure to go down a treat with the local GTs and Kingfish. New from 7 Seas is the Hunter jig. This one at first glance looks more like a standard long jig profile, but it's concave on one side, flat on the other. It's a really good fluttering action to it. So rather than being a fast jerk jig, this is a slow style jig. Really good for chasing bigger snapper and cagey amberjacks and kingfish. So nice for that slow jerk style, lots of good sideways flutter and plenty of shimmy on the way down. Sure to be a big hit on the fish this winter. Lastly, we just received a bunch of new lures today. I only just started unpacking them. Tsunakichi, big lure manufacturer in Japan for premium quality lures. These things have some of the best finishes I've ever seen. I haven't seen all the guys in the shop get so excited over a new batch of lures for many years. Great bunch of finishes, fantastic actions. At the moment we've got 55mm shad, really good bass lure. Also we've got mangrove jacks, cod and things like that on these guys. The hammer shads, longer lure, great for mangrove jacks and as a small barra lure. Really good jerkbait style, nice big rattle inside, so quite a noisy lure. And also, as you generally find in most lures these days, the bearing that rolls to the tail for the long straight casts. Husk pen, topwater stickbait style. These are an awesome little lure. They're going to go great on big Saratogas, jacks and barras. And into some smaller lures. The 47mm hammer. These got lovely foil finish to them, much like you see in some of the top of the line GT lures. They're really beautifully finished and going to be great on bream and the bass. In the smaller minnows, we've got the 60mm slip minnow, Tsunakichi. These guys will be a great lure for bigger bream, bass, as a small mangrove jack lure. Going to be superb. Again, some really nice prawn and shrimp finishes on them. And these little 47mm minnows, really cute little things. They've got some foil finishes as well, which are look absolutely stunning in the flesh, and great lures for bream bass and as a micro jack lure as well. New reels that have come out or about to come out. This one, the Sustain from Shimano, has just recently come out. There's also a larger 6,000 and 10,000 size that's just arrived in the country now. We should have those in a couple of days. The new Sustain features alloy body, so nice and rigid in the drivetrain, gives it plenty of strength. But they've gone to the CI4 carbon for the rotor to keep the weight down, so it makes a nice lightweight package. Also it uses the X-ship gearing, which is a technology used in the Stellas to have very fine tolerances in the gears and the drivetrain, so it means you get an extremely smooth action to it, even under heavy loads, still retains its smoothness. So these reels are great reels for chasing all sorts of stuff, from the smaller sizes for bream and bass right through to the 10,000. Will definitely get some heavy duty blue water work as well. Apart from that, a couple of new ones coming through very shortly. There's the new Catalina from Daiwa. That one is the step down from the Saltiga models. Uses a lot of the same features like the gears and the mag seal and the drag system. So very keenly awaited one that. For guys into heavy jigging and popping, it's going to be a fantastic reel. There's also a 4,000 size as well, which would be a really good heavy bay light offshore reel. Also from Daiwa coming shortly is the new Exist. That's their absolute top of the line flagship, and has pretty much everything technology wise that they can pack into a reel. It's super lightweight, incredibly smooth, has the mag seal, and it's also got a mag seal on the bail roller, so hopefully it means that noisy bail rollers will be a thing of the past. So looking very forward to getting that one. Should be here in the next couple of weeks. Today, this box of ASWB lures has just walked in the door. ASWB is, they make beautiful stick baits for big trevallies, tunas, mackerels, that sort of thing. Every time I get a shipment of these guys in, the finishes are a step up on the last, so they're constantly improving, and these ones are no different. In this bunch we've got some of the scad shape, the broader profiles in the 130 gram size. These slow sinkers have a really nice gliding side to side action and tons of really good colours. These metallic fleck finishes look awesome in the sun, they really stand out. Also, they're shorter profile. This one's the F90, the blunt nose. Really nice little tight wiggly action and superb if you throw stick baits at kingfish and mackerels and things like that. As I said, we've got a huge mixed bag of these here, yet to go through them all, but lots of them. They're fantastic stick baits, so you'll be seeing them up on our website very shortly. Thanks very much for watching our video newsletter. Keep an eye out for invites to our next seminar. We'll be having one of those coming up very shortly, and look forward to seeing you all in the store or hearing from you online. Thanks a lot.